Greetings to everyone and welcome to Making Connections. My name is David Triana.
And I'm Paola Connor, co-host.
How you doing today, Paola?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm
Happy New Year, David.
I'm doing wonderful. This is the first show of 2019, and we are very excited and think that this 2019 is going to be even better than 2018. So what kind of things have you been doing here lately?
Well, getting ready. It's going to be a busy and hopefully a very successful year for both of us and everybody that is watching.
We hope so. And hearing in a Conexión Media Group, the company that obviously runs the Making Connections show, we did have a very busy 2018, and 2019 has started just the same, right?
I know.
This past the first week in January, we had a wonderful event over at Pensacola's Joe's Caribe, and
That's right.
You were there. How did you like it?
I was there, and I'm loving every single networking event that you're hosting, because you get to see and meet so many different people each and every time.
And that's what we're trying to do with this concept that Conexión Media Group established, called the Hispanics and Friends Business Networking Social. It's a project that wants to get people together to expand their network. And in this one, we had the CEO and president of the Gulf Coast Minority Chamber of Commerce. His name is Brian Wire, and he gave a wonderful presentation, right?
Absolutely. He's really good at that. So I'm glad that I made it. I'm glad that I get to know and meet more people.
And one of the best things, obviously, is that we had people from all over the area. We had people from Mobile. As a matter of fact, one of your good friends.
They came from all over the place.
We had people come from Alabama, from Niceville, from Fort Walton Beach. So, yes, we have some great things planned for 2019. That was just the beginning of it. Out of that event, as you know, the persons from Mobile said that they wanted to do one over there. So we're looking forward to that, right? You're going to help us with that one?
Absolutely. Count me in.
Definitely. And another big project that we have with the Hispanics and Friends linked is the 22 February event that we're going to be doing in Tallahassee. In Tallahassee on the 22nd of February at the historic Barton House, Conexión Media Group is hosting an event called La Florida Becomes Florida USA, because that is a very important date in the history of Florida. Did you know that?
I heard. You mentioned it at the networking event. 22
February 1819 is when Florida became part of the United States. In other words, the Spaniards, who called it La Florida, released Florida to be part of the United States, and that happened on 22 February 1819. So 200 years to the date, Conexión Media Group is going to lead an event over there with culture, art, entertainment, tasty food, diversity, and culture. So we're looking forward to that.
Yes.
And we have some great guests coming up.
Yes,
Who do we got?
actually have the pleasure to have Mr. Debra McDaniel and Mr. Lee Wetzell. Debra is the Executive Director of Opportunity Place, Inc., and Lee is the Chairman of the Board. We'll be talking to both of them about the wonderful mission and services that their organization offers. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back with our guests.
We are here at the IMAX Challenger Center, and we are with Samantha Reeves. We are here to record her telling us why Cuba is being filmed here.
Yes, so Cuba is a new documentary. It's about 45 minutes long, and in IMAX is the way you're going to want to see this film. The film is done in 4K. It is absolutely stunning, and it really is the next best thing to actually being there. So if you don't already want to go to Cuba, you're going to want to go to Cuba after watching this film. It's so inspirational. We look at the architecture, the music, ballet, the cars, and the dancing, everything. So everything about Cuban culture you will find in this film, and it really tells a beautiful story about also the architecture of the people, but also the beautiful landscapes that Cuba has. So everything you could want to learn is encompassed in this film. We're really excited to bring it to Tallahassee and our surrounding area, and IMAX is the way to see it.
Fabulous. And how long is the film, and how long will it be running?
Yes, it's about 45 minutes, and it's going to open this Friday, January 18th, and it will play on our regular schedule for about 3 months, and then it will remain in our film library. So if you have a group that would like to come see it even after its initial run, we'll still have it available for you to come and do that with a group of your friends and organization. It'll still be available if you want to do a group show.
Well, it sounds like we're missing the dancing.
Yes, we have the Tallahassee salsa dancers here doing an impromptu salsa class to kind of get everybody ready to go see Cuba in just a few minutes here.
So walk and join them, Samantha. I'll follow
Yeah,
you.
let's go check it out.
Discover a vibrant land full of color, tradition, and culture. A land of spectacular natural wonders, encircled by an iridescent sea and flourishing coral reefs. This island was once the gateway to the New World and is still filled with architectural splendor from yesterday.
Que te mambo muy cortico, ven y baila lo sabroso, ven y baila un poquito. Baila mi mambo que esto se acaba, ya se acaba. El mambo se acaba, se acaba. Esto se acaba, ya se acaba, baby. El mambo se acaba.
Here you'll find an exuberant people for whom the past lingers and the future beckons. Come on a giant screen journey to the heart of the Caribbean and see Cuba like never before.
¡Te lo dije! ¡Se acabó!
Welcome back to Making Connections. Today we have with us Debra McDaniel, the Executive Director of Opportunity Place Incorporated, which is otherwise known as OPI. And we also have Lee Wetzell, the Chairman of the Board of the organization. Welcome to our show, Debra and Lee. How are you all doing?
Thank you so much.
Excellent.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Thank you. You
Same
too.
to you. Same to you.
Thank you.
Debra, you have a lot of experience in the nonprofit and in the private sector. And how did you get involved with the organization? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, well, I'd be glad to do that. Thank you. I got involved, I was contacted about 4 years ago now by the executive committee. I was living in Kansas City at the time, and they had contacted me about the position. They had heard about my skills. And as I talked to the women who were on the board at that time, the executive committee, I was so impressed and so moved by their passion and by the work that they were doing that it was an easy decision for me to come down here to be the director, and I've been doing that since October of 2015.
Understand. And were the homeless issues a big part of your life in the past, or something? You know, that
Working with
you
nonprofit
specifically did?
organizations, I've worked with a lot of different populations. It could be children who had autism. So I've worked with a lot of different, always serving the vulnerable populations in the community. What I have found working at Opportunity Place is that actually I probably get more out of it than even our clients do. It is just a really fulfilling position there.
And it's a wonderful mission. The organization does a lot of great things for the homeless women and children that they have.
Absolutely. Mr. Wetzell, may I call you Lee?
Lee, please.
Okay, great, Lee. I know you have extensive experience managing different organizations, and you're also a retired U.S. Force.
Yes, Air Force.
Okay, great. So what rank?
Well, I started out as an E1, the very basic enlisted troop, and then 33 years later, I retired as a full colonel.
Oh, very impressive.
So,
So what led you to OPI?
Well, you'll find that it's usually a convoluted path, but it's usually through people and friends you know and people you work with who have very common likes and desires, and really being involved in another nonprofit with an individual who happened to be on the board working with Debra, and she said, have you ever thought about Opportunity Place? And I said, what's Opportunity Place? And so I learned more about the organization, and she's right, the board is very passionate about serving that need in the community. So that was the hook that kind of got me involved. That was a couple of years ago. And
That passion is really contagious.
well,
Yes.
if it's not, then you don't need to be on the board.
That's right.
That's a very important thing, as it relates to boards for different nonprofit organizations. It's
Absolutely.
very important to have a mixture of people there, but more importantly, to have people that care about that organization.
Right,
That's
that do it with a heart.
a key element of that board.
Absolutely.
And as an Air Force person, I definitely congratulate you on that achievement, because I know how hard it is to do what you did. Start as an enlisted E1 in a sense, and go all the way up to the.
I always draw on that experience through the rest of, I've been retired now for 15 years or so from the Air Force. Done a lot of other kind of positions, and all of that experience and that diversity of people that's in our military is a wonderful group of people, and so you kind of draw from that, and it really has paid benefits later as you get beyond that and start applying those friendships and connections to other endeavors like Opportunity Place.
You bet. And the good management skills and leadership that you also learn as a military person are always instrumental to running a board, obviously. Debra, OPI's mission, wonderful mission to help single women and families who are homeless to become self-sufficient, for those women to become self-sufficient. Tell us a little bit more about the services that OPI offers to reach those objectives.
I'd be glad to share that information with you. The shelter, we actually provide shelter. I mean, that is, we meet the basic needs. So we provide a roof over their heads for the individuals who come to us. We keep families together as a unit, which is one of the things that's really important if you're homeless and you don't have to divvy your children out to different households and you don't know that they're going to be safe. When they come to us, a family gets a room of their own, and they're able to be together as a family unit. So we provide them with the very basic needs, food, clothing, shelter. We give them linens and hygiene items, and we meet everything that they need while they're there. So that's really, we consider the shelter to be a tool that we use to get them to self-sufficiency. So the mission of self-sufficiency is really where the work starts. So we have a case manager who works with our families, putting together a kind of a comprehensive personal development plan that focuses on housing and it focuses on financial stability. So we get them, they take Money Smart, which is a 5-unit course. We connect them to a lot of resources in the community, be it Catholic Charities, the Homelessness and Housing Alliance, the local churches. We connect them to all those resources. We enroll their children in early learning centers and provide child care, and we're able to do that because the Destin Charity Wine Auction Foundation is one of our larger donors. And their focus is children, so we're able to make sure the needs of those children are taken care of, which gives the parents a lot of a sense of comfort so that they can then focus on housing and focus on getting a job and saving money and doing the things that they need to do.
One of the misconceptions when it relates to the homeless, that I observe obviously, and I'm sure you may agree with this, is the thought that people have that homeless person is just doesn't care about her education and her job or whatever, and that's why they're homeless. That's definitely not the case, is it? I mean,
Can I chime in on that?
Sure.
Well, I had a similar kind of perception. You always feel that, well, anybody can pull themselves up by the bootstraps, right, and get it done.
Right.
And that is basically a true statement, but the difference are the circumstances that happen to people at no fault of their own.
You bet.
And that's the part that I was kind of surprised at, learning more and more about the clients, is, for an example, a woman who is in an apartment, who's been paying the rent, is working, and gets evicted. Why does she get evicted? The landlord wasn't paying the mortgage.
Oh, yes.
She didn't know that.
There you
see
go.
that
So
Exactly.
they repossess the property.
No fault of
the
her
bank.
own. Boom.
And all the
Something
tenants
happens.
get booted.
Right.
So the things like that do happen, and you hear stories of most people, and a lot of people are one paycheck away from being homeless.
Yes.
And so that kind of opened my eyes, I think, when I first started getting involved.
That's a good way to put it.
That's
One
exactly right.
paycheck away
One paycheck away.
Yes.
You'd be surprised how many people are one paycheck away from being in serious trouble.
You bet, you bet. And obviously here in this wonderful area that we live in, there's different organizations that do such things as care for the homeless also. You have One Hopeful Place, for example, that has recently come up. You have a shelter house, for example, that takes care of domestic violence issues, that take care of women that suffer from those things, the Fresh Start and others. How is OPI different than all of them?
We're the same and we're different at the same time. So we'll use the example of One Hopeful Place. They serve a population of single men. We don't. Now we do have fathers. Many times we'll have a single father there with his children. In fact, right now we have 6 of our 10 rooms have both mom and dad. So we do take men. We just don't take single men. So One Hopeful Place is able to meet the needs of the single men in this community. Shelter House focuses strictly on domestic violence. Now about 25% of our clients are also coming out of domestic violence as well. We're considered a low barrier to entry shelter. A lot of words, right? But basically what that means is that we will meet people where they are. So we may have people who have a substance abuse issue, or we may have somebody who has mental health issues that they need to address. We take them where they are, and even though we are not a substance abuse shelter, we're not domestic violence, we connect them to Bridgeway, we connect them to the resources in the community so that we can focus on their housing. When it comes to organizations like Fresh Start, we have a very good working relationship actually with all of the organizations in the area. So sometimes our families are doing what they need to do. They've been saving money, but they're not quite ready to get out there on their own, so they'll go to Fresh Start. And they'll have that 9 months that they can then learn additional skills, because we're more that boot camp. We're the ones that we've got them for 90 days, and if you put that in terms of a paycheck, that's 6 paychecks. That's it, if you're working. So, we're there for that immediate need, so that we're getting these families out of their vehicles in the Walmart parking lot, or out of the woods in a tent. Or we had one family where the mom and dad were literally living in the little hut at a car wash while the children were being divvied out to households.
Wow.
So we keep them safe, and we provide them with those, the initial services that they need.
It is wonderful.
So we all work together. It's a good
complement each
community.
other.
We
Absolutely.
absolutely do. Yeah.
How many families are you currently serving?
Well, we have 10 rooms, so 9 of those rooms right now are committed to families, and as I mentioned, a family will get a room to themselves. So regardless if it's like a single mom and child, or if it's a family of 6, they're going to get a room of their own. Everything else is communal living, and then we have a room that's dedicated to single women. So if we have a lot more single women than families, we may open up a second room for the single women so that we can meet their needs. So typically we have between 28 and 35 people living at the shelter at one time.
And there's usually a waiting list, right?
There's always a waiting list.
So that's the thing about the need. You have to think about that, because there are all these different agencies, nonprofits, that are providing a core need. In this case, it's shelter, but there's so much more.
Right.
But they're all full. And we're full, and we always have a waiting list. So, there's obviously a need.
Right. So Lee, how does the board helps in relation to OPI? What do they do?
Well, the board obviously is unpaid oversight, really. It's more like a checks and balances to make sure that everything's done properly, legally. We have audits. We make sure there's structure, there's policies, there's procedures. And obviously we're big on the fundraising. Opportunity Place is like any other nonprofit these days, 100% funded not by the government. It's 100% funded by donors, individuals or groups, or as she said, the Destin Charity Wine Auction, or United Way. I guess we've got several larger donors, corporations, but that's what makes it tick.
Right.
So we as a board oversee that, make sure that we stay within our budget, make sure that that's all done properly. But primarily, we are the connection to the community.
There you go.
That's really, I think, the biggest role that we play, and that connection is what makes this thing work, because it really is hooking us up with various different organizations and people that want to help. They don't know how.
Right.
Well, there's lots of ways to help. It doesn't have to be a checkbook.
Right.
It could be your time. It could be donation of an item, or diapers, or whatever it might be. There's ways that people can assist, and often they just don't know how.
Right. And actually, I was going to ask you that because I know that many of our viewers, after hearing what you guys do, would love to help. Where do they go? Who do they contact?
You the boss. You do that.
Is it tag team?
Yes, she's
All
got
right,
it.
all right. So there's three primary ways. So one of them is to help us financially. As Leanne mentioned, that our largest supporters are individuals. We also, as part of a financial program, is we have a meal donor program. This is something the community really likes. So the meal donor program, so every night we provide a warm, nutritious meal for the families. And it could be a local church, for example, Greg Chapel, at least twice a month. We'll bring over a meal for our families at 5 o'clock, ready, prepared for them to eat. But if you don't like to cook, but you want to participate, they can simply go to our website and go to the donate button, and they can purchase a meal. And you're going to be surprised when you hear this, but for $77, Golden Corral will bring a meal for 30 to 35 people.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I know, isn't that
That's a great
awesome?
relationship.
That program alone
Exactly.
is a $30,000 savings for us, the meal donor program.
Wow, that's an outstanding
I know,
program.
isn't it?
Yes, it is.
The building is currently owned by the Community Development Corporation, and we're able to lease that at $1 per year, so that's a huge cost savings for us as well. And then volunteering. We have individuals who volunteer. We have a small pantry. And we have this pantry because every Wednesday afternoon, and this is a good thing for the community to know as well, is if somebody in the local community, Sylvania Heights area, around in that area, has a need, we have a food and product distribution every afternoon, or every Wednesday afternoon, from 3 to 4 o'clock. So a family or an individual can come in and get a nice box of food, and we're able to do that because we also get food from Destin Harvest.
Oh, great.
They bring in the food in the morning, we go through everything, we keep what we're able to use at the shelter, and then we set things aside for people in need in the community. So the other ways of volunteering is a lot of times the military or church groups or even businesses will look for a way to do team building with their employees or their group, and they will come and spend a day with us, and trust me, I can keep them busy. So it may either be painting, or it could be building a cabinet in the kitchen, or
Working on the playground.
working on the playground, or
always something.
always mowing, or
something to do.
always something
Always.
to do.
Well, you see
there
the
at
facility
shelter.
back here. I mean, it wasn't built last week. It's
Understand?
been around a while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's nice, and it's very
So,
nice.
so
Yeah,
all
yeah.
of the maintenance is on us. All of the utilities, of course, are on us. So it's like owning a home. Except we don't have the mortgage, but we have all the other costs that go with it.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
so
That's really
awesome.
impressive.
Looks like a lot of support from different agencies.
Absolutely.
And obviously you have some supporters from the private sector also, I'm
We
sure.
do.
we do.
Any particular organizations or companies that are helping you guys on a regular basis here in
Well,
the area?
Gulf Power has been a strong supporter in the past, of course. Cox has always been there for us. United Way is our second largest donor. Mary Esther Bingo, we are fortunate to be one of their partners as well. So it's just a lot of different communities. And the faith-based community here is phenomenal. I don't know what else to say. I mean, it's just genuine people, and they were always
They
opening
are.
their hearts for us. So we appreciate that.
Wonderful. So we think your mission is very worthwhile.
Thank
and
you.
Absolutely.
we are going to be doing something, as you know, with Conexión Media Group on behalf of your organization on the 23rd of February. I'm sorry, the 23rd of March.
Yes, I
on the
have that
23rd
right
of March,
here.
we want to make sure that you all attend the International Festival Fort Walton Beach. The International Festival Fort Walton Beach is going to be held at the Emerald Coast Convention Center, and it's going to be probably nations from all over the world, over 60 nations likely, in food and culture and folkloric dancing and all kinds of great activities, regional, national presentations.
fun.
And more importantly, the proceeds are going to be donated to Opportunity Place Incorporated, and
Awesome.
we are very happy to be able to do that, and we hope it's a great success, but it's only going to be a success if you show up,
That's
whoever's
right.
watching.
And I think something that, I don't know about you, David, but something that I learned today is how people think homeless people, they don't make the effort to
Sure.
keep on living, to do their best. There's life changes in a second.
That's right.
And that's
Yes.
number one thing. Number two, once they get in your center, is truly a journey for them.
It is.
Oh,
That's a really good way to describe
Right,
it.
it's a journey.
if you come over there sometime, as you walk down the outdoor walkway, written across the top of the beams are inspirational sayings, that kind of give you courage and realize that there will be a tomorrow, there will be a better day. What was the one by Albert Einstein that's out there? There's several. See, you've seen them, so many of them. But every time I go over there, I walk along. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go now. I've seen these
And
things.
there's nothing more powerful than hope. And hope is what you're actually giving
Yes.
people because
absolutely.
you are reaching out to them in their biggest time of need.
Correct.
And then you're providing these services that are providing them with hope. That
They will
there's
never
gonna be a better
forget
day.
Nobody wants to be there.
That's right.
Right.
That
You
is
know, they're
correct.
there because there has been a life, something has changed in their lives. I think of a grandmother who was there with her grandson. She was taking care of her grandson. The daughter was an addict, so grandma was taking care of him. She had a heart attack, hospitalized, lost her job, lost housing. They didn't want to be there, but thank goodness we are there. So they have a place that they can relax, not really relax, but be safe and be able to focus on what's important to get to that next
It's
level.
kind of a foundation for the
We are
next
yeah,
chapter.
absolutely.
Well, we also want to thank you on behalf of the Hispanic
thank
community
you.
because
Yeah.
I know that you also
Yeah.
serve Hispanics that come to you, and unfortunately some of them have the language barrier.
Yep.
And you are going to take them and you're going to help them, and
Absolutely.
I know you have done it many times from what we know,
Mm-hmm.
and we thank you for that because as representatives of the Latino community here, we want to make sure that those that are taking care of them are acknowledged, and I know you do
Yes.
through
we do.
Opportunity
Yeah.
Place Incorporated in many ways. And
Like we say, se habla español.
that's right, that's right. So that could be one of the ways that people can help on the Hispanic community side, to be ready to assist you if you ever needed translation or
And as you know, I'm going to give you a call
Or
when that comes up.
interpretation
That's
services.
right.
She will, by the way.
that,
I
yes,
will.
definitely.
Yeah,
and,
but-
and
You
more
can
than
call me
welcome.
too, no problem,
You
I
can call
can
us
help
anytime
you.
with that, and we
Debra
will
is-
connect you to the people that can help
Persistent.
or ourselves.
She's very persistent, and that's a wonderful quality in a director.
You bet.
Is
You
to
bet.
be on it.
She's
and
a hardworking
she's awesome.
director for sure.
She is.
Thank you all.
So again, we want to thank you both for being here, Debra and Lee, and giving us information on this wonderful agency called Opportunity Place Incorporated, and the
you,
great
David.
stuff that you do on
We
behalf of the
do.
community.
Awesome.
Any parting words? Any last words you want to say to the audience?
I would just say if you have any interest and you want to come by, please just go to our website, call the main line, ask for me. Again, it's Debra McDaniel, and I'd be glad to give you a tour of the facility. Of course, we are very respectful of the families that are living there. We don't allow pictures. This is their home while they're there. But I'm very proud to be affiliated with this organization, and I love to show it off. So feel free to come by. I'll be glad to take you around.
Thank you very much for coming
Thank you
to
so
making
much.
connections. We
Definitely.
appreciate it. And,
Ditto.
God bless you. And we definitely feel your passion, and it's contagious.
Oh, good,
That's
good,
right.
good,
That's
good.
correct. We will be right back.
Do you want to advertise to thousands of Hispanics and non-Hispanics in Northwest Florida, and Southern Alabama?
¿Quieres promover tu empresa y producto a miles de hispanos y no hispanos?
Connection is your most cost-efficient way to do so.
Conexión es tu solución.
We are the largest English and Spanish publication in our region. Our primary mission is to inform, guide, and educate our readers via interesting content.
Somos la publicación mensual en español y en inglés de la más grande distribución en toda la región. Además de las 5,000 copias en papel, tenemos activas las redes sociales, incluyendo Facebook, Twitter e Instagram, y también por Internet.
Conexión is your bridge to connect you to the growing Hispanic market in the region. Call us.
Llámanos.
Here is an event that you don't want to miss. If you want to attend an international event, this is the one. International Festival Fort Walton Beach, The World Unites in the Emerald Coast. Saturday, March 23rd, 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. at the Emerald Coast Convention Center. Corporate sponsors, vendors, and performers, welcome. Here is another event with a Latin twist. Emerald Coast Salsa and Bachata Congress, March 22nd to March 24th. A studio fusion in Fort Walton Beach. No te lo pierdas. If you're passionate about history, here is an upcoming great event. La Florida becomes Florida, USA. A celebration of the 200th anniversary of the Adams-Onis Treaty, highlighting the beautiful tapestry of cultures of Florida's past and present. Friday, February 22nd, 6 to 9 p.m., the historic Martin House in Tallahassee, Florida. We hope you can make it to one or more of these events.
Well, as they always say, good things must come to an end, and this is the end of our show for today. How did you enjoy it?
Oh, I really enjoyed it. I think this is one of the best interviews that we have ever had.
I think that interview was wonderful. I think the people that came here, Debra, McDaniel, and Mr. Wetzell from Opportunity Place, Inc., were wonderful. They gave us some great information, and I hope people will go out and support them, volunteer with them, and support the events that they hold.
Absolutely. I hope so too.
And you ready for the next one coming soon?
Oh, I'm ready for the next one. Whenever
Sí.
you're ready, I'm ready.
Ándale, ¿qué le vamos a decir a nuestra gente?
Buena gente, a empezar el año con mucha fuerza, muchas ganas y seguirlo con mucho positivismo.
Exactamente.
Nos vemos pronto.
Que tengan un muy feliz y exitoso año 2019 y aquí estaremos el próximo mes con Making Connections.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.